You see a listing at 8 in the morning. By noon, you're crammed into a hallway with 8 other hopefuls, and the agent is telling you to put down a holding deposit before the sun sets or lose the flat entirely. That artificial urgency is driven by a real squeeze on supply, pushing average private rents in the UK up nearly 9% last year. The timeline is so compressed that you barely have a moment to consider what the street looks like on a Friday night, or who hangs around the corner once the shops close. That friction creates a dangerous dynamic. The pressure to simply secure a roof forces you to trade away basic due diligence, leaving you completely blind to the actual risk profile of the postcode you just committed to. And that blind spot is exactly where the true cost of renting hides, a secondary ledger of expenses never appearing on the letting brochure. Looking at the balance sheet, the trap begins with a lease £150 below average. Within 6 months, a stolen bike, doubled insurance, and £80 monthly taxi fares erase the discount, dragging you into a £1,500 to £3,000 net loss. That bargain rent effectively transforms into an unpredictable string of lifestyle taxes, coupled with the daily friction of feeling unsafe in your own neighborhood. A structural flaw in the housing market creates a massive opportunity for the informed. Rental prices and local crime rates rarely move in tandem. While agents price a property based on transport links or historical reputation, the actual street-level reality is mapped publicly every month on databases like police.uk. Tracing the lagging reputation reveals a disconnect. Local incident rates drop sharply over 5 years, while average rent remains anchored by old stigma. That gap is your target. Tracking incident categories identifies quiet neighborhoods long before letting agents notice and hike, and landlords price their flats based on the neighborhood's past. A sharp tenant negotiates based on the data of its present. Time isn't the only variable you can exploit. Geography works exactly the same way, provided you look closely enough. A thin border appears when a single main road separates 2 identical risk zones. The blue side carries a 10% discount, despite the safety markers remaining constant on both sides of the asphalt. You'll also find the reverse scenario, the pocket problem. A premium, generally calm neighborhood whose overall statistics look terrible simply because one specific road, maybe a late-night high street, is generating 80% of the public order calls. If you just look at the headline borough data, you'll walk away. But if you drill down to the street level, the solution is obvious. You rent the discounted flat 3 streets over from the noise. Broad postcode-level averages obscure the reality of how people actually live. It is the hyper-local, block-by-block data that draws the actual line between an overpriced trap and a quiet, undervalued home. Of course, the safest street in the city won't help you if the building itself is a liability. Right now, rising mortgage rates and new regulations are quietly squeezing the profit margins of private landlords across the country. And eventually, a landlord's financial stress rolls downhill onto the tenant. You have to look for the warning signs during the viewing. Are they evasive about exactly who handles emergency repairs? Or, crucially, is the property missing a valid energy performance certificate? When a landlord defers structural maintenance to save cash, that missing efficiency certificate translates directly into a pulsing energy bill for the tenant. You end up subsidizing a failing investment. Signing a contract with a financially strained landlord turns a perfect neighborhood into an exhausting, expensive ordeal. Doing this due diligence properly, cross-referencing police databases, rental indices, council tax bans, and EPC registers for every property is tedious, manual work that can take hours. But you can bypass that manual labor entirely by using the Postcode Crime versus Rent Risk Checker by FairRent. The tool pulls the street-level incident history, the regional pricing averages, and the hidden property risks into one unified dashboard, giving you a comprehensive assessment of any area in about 10 minutes. The best time to run these checks is before your landlord sends that 8-week renewal notice. Head over to costsaver.co.uk to start running your target postcodes today. In a market designed to keep you panicked and rushing, data is the only mechanism you have to slow things down, strip away the marketing, and take the financial power back.